Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to today's show. Just a breaking news, just in. Let's just get a quick update on what is happening in the Middle East. Which is like 3 days from now, and the Excellency Donald Trump alleviate the affairs of the country, the president-elect Joe Biden. Now, just this Saturday, which is 23rd January 2021. We've all seen what is happening right now. That's why I said it's a breaking news. What is happening in the Middle East right now? Iran has moved long-range missiles, and Iran has moved submarines and warships, testing them on the Indian Ocean and the Sea of Oman. So, at this point, you ask yourself, what exactly does Iran want? It's like, it seems Iran wants to behave like North Korea. They need attention right now. Look, per certain political observers or certain foreign policy observers, they've seen clearly that during the last year of Trump's administration, a lot of people said the Democratic Party, some of their leaders started negotiations with Iran precisely to return Iran back to the JCPOA agreement that they made in 2015 under Obama's administration, whereby they gave him 150 billion. Out of that, 1.5 billion as in cash was given to them so that they refrain from nuclear weapons. And now Trump came unilaterally. He felt that it was a very bad deal. Pulling the United States out of it. But as it stands right now, in Iran, you had look, there's a new leadership. And this was the same leadership a grantee will wish at the mouth. So why the need for you to start? And now this is what the RGC commander is saying. Say the intent is not to aim at anybody, but rather to send a signal to the adversary. Say they possess long-range missiles. They already know that. It's like they have a case, and now Iranians are trying to make their case worse. They should not forget that there are certain radicals also in the Democratic Party. Look, under Trump, we all saw what happened. Your number 2 or number 1 political figure was assassinated. Yes. Now, you've been patient for 4 years. You've seen, say, a new leader, but so why the need for you to start testing all these missiles again? It's like he's trying to put up another bravery posture. Is it to threaten this administration or get the attention of this administration? It seems that's what Iran is doing right now. But I believe it's not the right time for this. Because the new administration just took over, just 3 days. So why is that Iran is so in a rush, say, already, so you know very well, so Omonomo Akasa underground. See, let me quote something from General Jakin. Jakin is holding on to that belief. And he said, all the establishment of His Excellency Donald Trump, the new administration is going to bring it down because this is what Trump did. 2018, pulling the United States unilaterally out of the JCPOA agreement, placing more sanctions or imposing more sanctions precisely on Iran. After imposing those sanctions on Iran, the goal was to cripple Iran's economy so that Iran will come back to the negotiation table. Iran is a very prideful country. You can't dispute that. They chose not to. Almost endured this 4 years under Trump. Even during the COVID season, I'm sorry to say this, but during the COVID season part, they needed certain health supplies in the current. Still, the sanctions were actually hitting them. The economy was in tank. Some of their people, even internally, embarking on demonstration and protests against the regime, so I'm to be taking care of them. I mean, they had it so bad with Trump's administration, and Trump even promised him, when his second term now, Iran was going to be on his knees to beg for negotiations. Maybe I would say God being so good on the part of the Middle East or on the part of Iran. It didn't work out. Later part of Trump's administration, the last 2 weeks in his administration, how some people were pushing, say, invade Iran and said, We saw certain bombings Israel for and Syria, precisely in Damascus. We also saw a night before Trump was leaving office, which was on the 19th and 18th and 19th, those 2 nights. We saw what happened in Iraq. Iran installations, almost started some more bombing, purposely to provoke them so that there will be confrontation. At that point, some of us believe, say, one, Trump doesn't want to destroy any legacy. Two, also will issue an air pendy, which is coming Monday. He's going to face his articles of impeachment is going to be handed over to the House of Senate for trial. So look at all this in place, and I per se believe that Trump didn't have the home support to invade Iran. That was also a factor. The man ended his administration on 20th January. Right now he's in Florida. So why this time around? Why is Iran behaving like North Korea? Look, they are too mature for this. So now this is what Joe Biden's administration is telling them. They are prepared to rejoin the JCPOA agreement, even though a lot of people believe it's totally opposite to Trump's strategy, because Trump believes as a matter of time, Iran will get to a point they can't return, so they will rather be forced to come back to the table with no preconditions, and then they make it clear to them. But here's the case here. This is what Obama administration did. After almost signing that deal with Iran, it made Iran become so powerful in the Gulf. We saw what happened in Yemen. He started financing certain proxies to go after the American allies. We saw how the Hezbollah became very powerful. For first time, we saw them launching long-range rockets. All this Trump approach to take it, some people believe it's about working. Now, Joe Biden administration is in place. But one thing Biden is saying is that I see that as a conditional statement that he's going to join the JCPOA agreement if Iran will follow strict compliance. So there is no 100% passage there. The Biden administration, there's a condition here, even though Trump's approach was different, but Biden's approach is just giving them some sort of condition. Now, Israel is also saying, according to Benjamin Netanyahu, he's trying to tell the Americans, even though they're their main allies, fine, everybody knows that it was so cool with Trump as compared to, we don't know how the relationship between him and Biden is going to be. But for the first time, we saw what Trump did for them, signing the Abraham Lincoln Accord, bringing the Gulf nations together, uniting with Israel, two, equipping them militarily, diplomacy, in terms of diplomacy, and politically making them strong. Then, one thing we also saw is that we declared the Golan Heights Israel for. Then we also moved the capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And now under Biden's administration, I know they're not going to make any change to it. It's there, it's settled. These are some of the history or some of the legacies that Trump is making where the Middle East is concerned. Fine. Israel is also making it clear, say U.S. are joining JCPOA agreement now with Iran. They will not meet them with any negotiation on Iran because everybody knows it was a bad deal. I don't see why, but we don't know we don't know the new thing Biden administration is bringing on board. You see, foreign policy has become very important at this point. Now, so Iran making these provocations, the signal, the message, almost put it to the West and they say, almost target you. But indeed, I don't think they are targeting anybody, but I don't see the need for them to do this. Yeah, because administration, I want to now cook good terms that year. It's a matter of you giving the administration to settle in. I want to start another negotiations. I hope nothing bad comes out of it. I would say a big thank you to everyone for your time. And one more thing, so I may ask you, with this Ghana court issues, running away from it. From Monday, we are going to go into all the 3 sections now. I take it place, That's going to be a very different topic on its own. A very treaty all the 3 proceedings are taking place,